Hi all, welcome. In this video, we will discuss about IAM Identity Center. We will see what is IAM Identity Center and how can we use Identity Center to add users to multiple accounts with different set of permissions. Okay, let's begin. So when you are trying to create a new user using IAM, you may have seen this message. Identity Center is enabled. We recommend managing workforce users access to AWS accounts and cloud applications in Identity Center. So let's try to understand what is Identity Center. Identity Center is the recommended front door into AWS. If you are an administrator, if you are managing AWS access for your team members, then it is your tool to provide access to your team members, not only to the multiple accounts owned by your organization, but also if there are any third-party applications which are integrated with Identity Center, such as Salesforce or Box, etc. You can use Identity Center for managing access to your team members to multiple AWS accounts and third-party applications. So Identity Center is rightly the front door into AWS. It provides employees a single location to access multiple accounts and applications. That is the single sign-on interface. And it's the primary tool to manage user access. That is the gist of what we were just discussing. And it's free of charge. Now, let's go into Identity Center console and then try to find out when you have multiple accounts, how do you create a new user and how do you set permissions for multiple accounts. Okay, let's go there. We are here in IAM Identity Center console and I have clicked on my accounts, AWS accounts. I have a organization with multiple accounts. You can see that structure here. And what I want to do is I want to add a user with varying permissions to two of my accounts under this OU, workloads OU, account August 1 and account July 25. I want to add the same user ID but with multiple permissions. You can do that using AWS Identity Center. First step is to create a permission set. So you have to click on permission sets, create permission set, and permission set is a set of permission policies which you can attach with a particular user. So it is like assigning a role to a particular user. We will understand that as we go ahead. So when you create a permission set, either you can create a predefined permission set or custom permission set. So predefined you can see administrator access, billing, data scientist, which looks like a role, right? Database administrator, etc. But here I want to create my own permission set. So I will click on custom permission set next. Then here, when you choose policies to be included in this permission set, you can choose AWS managed policies or customer managed policies, inline policy, or even permissions boundaries you can attach. But to keep it simple, I want to go with AWS managed policies and I want to create a permission set called data analyst. Because of that, I am going to give EMR full access, only this particular policy. For a data analyst, you will need to provide more permissions, but right now, to keep it simple, I am just giving EMR full access for a data analyst. Come down, click on next. It is asking for a permission set name. So I am going to use this name data analyst. Description, I am not entering anything. When you log in using this particular permission set, you will be given access for 1 hour, temporary permission. So if you want to change that, you can make it 2 hours, 4 hours, etc. But I'm not changing it. Come down, click on next. So this is the permission set which you have created. This is the permission and the name of permission set is data analyst. Create. So now we have created a permission set called data analyst. Now we need to create a user ID and attach this permission set with that particular user. So let's see how we can do that. So the next step is to add a user. So go here and click on users. So we have decided on what permissions to be given to a user, that is created as data analyst. Now I have to create a new user. Click on add user and here username I will give it as test user 101. Any name you can give. Send an email to the user. That is required because the user has to receive that email and then he or she has to set the user ID password after receiving that email. So give the corresponding email. I have created a temporary email ID, so I will use that for this purpose. This is the temporary email ID. You can use your or your team members' mail ID. First name, let me just use the same thing, test user 101. Come down, don't change anything else, click on next. So it is asking, do you want to include this user as a part of the group? These groups have attached policies already, attached permission sets. So if you make my new user as part of chief admin, then it will inherit all the permission sets assigned to this chief admin. I don't want to do that at this point, so I'm skipping this. Now, if you come down, you can click on add users. So right now you can notice that this user doesn't have any permissions. I have just created it without any permissions, but we will soon give this user permissions. What is the next step? You have to go to that email and then set your password. Go to that temporary email, and you have already got email from invitation to join AWS Identity Center. Just click on that and accept invitation. So it is asking you to set the password. Okay, let me try to set the password. It has certain conditions here. You will have to meet all that. Okay, so all the conditions are met. Yes, set new password. Okay, so I have set the new password. So come back to your Identity Center. What is the next step you have to do? You have to attach permission policies to this user, and you have to assign this user to a particular account. So how do we do that? Go to AWS accounts again and select your account. For example, I have two accounts which I want to select, account August 1 and account July 25. So first I will choose account August 1 and then assign users or groups. So I'm not dealing with groups. Let me select users and this user, test user 101. So I have selected a user to be assigned to a particular account. But then I also need to give the permissions to this user. So it is asking what permission you want to give. You are assigning this user to account August 1, but what permission you want to give? I want to give data analyst permission set. Yeah, data analyst permission set. Select that, go to next, submit. So by now, this user, test user 101 has got data analyst permissions, and now this user is assigned to this account called account August 1. Now I want to assign the same user to account July 25 also with different set of permissions. So what can I do? Select that and go to assign users or groups. Okay, so select your user. Next. Now permission set, instead of giving data analyst permission, I want to give say billing permission. So select this and next, submit. Okay, now the next step is I have to log in to these two accounts using this particular user ID and the password which I have already set. So how do you do that? You go to dashboard and then you have this AWS Access Portal URL. So you have to open it by clicking on this. So you will get this sign in page. So just give your user ID and password. Next, password, yes, sign in. Okay. So I logged in using that user ID password, and you can see there are two accounts appearing because I have assigned this user ID to both these accounts. If you open this, you can see data analyst permissions are given, and if you open this, you can see billing permissions are given. So if you click on data analyst, it will have only EMR full access permission. Okay, many other permissions will be missing, but I just want to show you how you can log in. So here it is saying access denied because many of the permissions I have not given. Okay, so this is how you can use Identity Center for creating different permission sets and different users. And for the same user, you can assign that user to multiple accounts with multiple permission sets. That's what we have seen. And once you have done this, please ensure that you clean it up. For that, the order is you have to go and delete the user first, and then go to the accounts and remove the permission sets from each of the accounts, and then delete the permission set. And that will complete your cleanup. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll come back with more such useful videos. Please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you. Bye.